So that's what they meant by the Clone Wars. Hello everyone and welcome. Today we take on Elden Ring with an ordinary Twin Blade. Even though this isn't a themed run, I decided to make my character look like Darth Maul because I couldn't think of any other famous Twin Blade users. Named him Qui-Gon because that's funny to me, and we're off. You might be wondering why I'm not calling this a Can You Beat Elden Ring with Only a Twin Blade challenge. Because you can, and it's not even hard, and some people get very angry when I dare ask such questions. Then again, I could do a Can You Beat Elden Ring blindfolded in a room full of angry hornets with thumbtacks glued to my controller and lobsters attached to each nipple run, and people would still complain it's too easy. Instead, I thought I would do a more pseudo-challenge showcase kind of video where I restrict myself to a weapon, but am allowed to build around it to make it as strong as possible. There are some other limitations, but I'll get to that later. For now, I head to the Dragon Burnt Runes to pick up my weapon of choice. Oh, that is not the sound I expected copyright-free Darth Maul to make when he gets hit. Am I gonna have to listen to that the whole time? I can't actually use the Twin Blade yet, but that's something a little bit of grave robbing can fix. I also go down to High Road Cave for the Blue Dancer Charm as I'm probably gonna be naked for the first half of this run, so I might as well get some extra damage. And with that, it's time to take on Margit. My initial impressions of the Twin Blade. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Particularly, I like that pretty much every swing hits more than once. It's balanced so that only the final hit does the big boy damage, but I can already tell what talismans I'm going to use in this run. Anyway, Goatman McGee goes down and Melina takes us back to her place where I can ask my main man Hugh to... Whoa. Hugh, you don't look so good. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just my back.
Well, what's wrong?
Honestly, it's your fault.
What?
Yeah, you're such trash at this game that my wallet is filled to the brim with runes and it's messing up my posture. If only I had a slim and sleek wallet.
Well, ain't that a coincidence, Hugh? You should check out today's sponsor, Ridge Wallet. Do all of your friends make fun of you for having a big, bulky wallet? Well, it's time to just throw that thing in the ocean and become the envy of all with a beautiful and sleek Ridge Wallet. Might want to take everything out of that first one, though. I love this wallet, and I'm not just saying that because it can hold up to 12 cards and cash, or because it comes with a lifetime guarantee with RFID blocking technology, but because it's honestly just a really convenient wallet to have in today's world. But wait, there's more. Ridge also makes these incredible durable key cases that hold up to 6 keys. I bet this random sorcerer wouldn't have lost his Academy Glintstone key if he had one of these Ridge key cases. And right now, you can use my link, ridge.com/doomwolf, to get the best offer of up to 40% off until December 22nd. That's ridge.com/doomwolf. I'll even put it down in the description to make it easier. And if that isn't enough to convince you, here is some footage of the wallet being completely unfazed by a torch. How cool is that? Or how hot, I suppose. Anyway, big thanks again to Ridge for sponsoring me. Now back to our normal programming. With my Twin Blade leveled up and Hugh's posture problem fixed, it's time to storm the castle. In recent playthroughs, I've learned that this Banished Knight is a good indication of how a later fight will go. That's not good. I'm actually kind of impressed. A regular R1 from the whip is good enough to stagger, but the jumping attack from a Twin Blade isn't? Oh well, that's a problem for later. Speaking of jump attacks, I do grab the Claw Talisman and it's off to fight Godrick. After having fought him so many times, I have this newer level of respect for Godrick as a great early game boss for new players to learn mechanics and the dance of combat. I also love that he's so freaking slow I can test out pretty much any moveset on him. With him down, I'm ready to move on to Liurnia. Is what I would say, but am stupid and forgot to do a few things. So first, I go to Gatefront Runes to grab the Whetstone Knife, buy Spinning Slash, get the Iron Whetblade from Stormveil Castle, and then put the Keen Affinity on my Twin Blade. This is the other restriction I mentioned earlier. I'm not going to allow myself to infuse weapons unless they have the same Ash of War and don't modify damage type. In other words, the Keen Affinity is fine because it retains 100% physical damage, but something like the Magic Infusion is off limits. I'm also not going to ever infuse an effect such as Bleed or Frost onto a weapon that doesn't already have it. Okay, now it's time for Liurnia. First things first, we buy the most important item in the whole game. Honestly, I'm really only going to have like 2 uses for it, which is a lot less than the trinket I get from this Cleanrot Knight. The Wing Sword Insignia is one of the primary talismans I'll be running. It boosts attack by 3, 5, and 10% a hit after it activates. To be completely honest, I'm not sure how the effect applies, but my Unga Bunga brain says mini slash equals more damage. After that, the lakes are just like normal. Grab some Seeds and Tears, beat up Bolka Blue Boy, gaze into the eye of the abyss, listening to the sound of chittering madness in the shadows of my mind. You know, normal Liurnia things. Heading into the academy, there honestly isn't much to talk about. Yep, just business as usual. Rennala Phase 1 is the antithesis of a problem. Breaking her Sweeting Shield is a matter of hitting R1, then she herself just sits there so I can kinda just wail on her. I almost feel bad, but then I remember the absolute pain in the dick she was during my Madness Only run. Phase 2? I don't know what happened, honestly. Anytime I do this fight melee, I usually opt for jumping attacks. Her response is either to jump away from me casting magic, to which I just jump at her with the bonk, or twirl her little baton, to which I also just jump at her. Do y'all see where the Claw Talisman is great? Ironically, I'm not actually using it in this fight right now, but hey. In this particular instance, I just kind of got her in a nice little loop. She didn't even summon her spirits. I'm really starting to like this weapon. Before heading up to Altus, I decided on a little detour to Ohio to start Millicent's questline. Well, you've clearly never seen my videos. After throwing myself down this cliff, seriously From, please put a grace down here, I meet Gowry, who says some funny magic words, then tells me to go fight a man standing in a toxic death swamp. Sounds about right for a FromSoft game, honestly. Now allow me to show you why you should never underestimate your enemies. With that embarrassing death out there for all the world to see, the second attempt goes much better. Ignore the rot bar, that's just there for show. After Commander O'Neill goes down, he drops the unalloyed gold needle, which when given to Millicent awards the Prosthesis Wearer's Heirloom for +5 dexterity. This is honestly just a formality to start her questline, as literally the very next thing I do is go to Altus Plateau and grab the Ritual Sword Talisman. As long as I don't get hit, this is better than +5 dex. Fia, I know you have something to tell me, but so do I. Execute Order 69, heh nice. Oh, wait, Fia, what did you do? This is Order 66, that's not what I said! Having started her questline, I decided to also start Ronnie's. Okay, with that out of the way, it's time to take on General Radahn. At first, I was worried about this fight. I mean, he hits pretty hard, and I'm literally only wearing steel-toed leggings, so how much is that going to help me, really? To my surprise, though, we can withstand a fair few of his attacks. Now, to be fair, I didn't get hit by any of the big damaging ones, but we take those. In the end, we give him the old jump from behind attack, and he goes down. I spend a few days sitting in Altus contemplating what to do next, and finally decide to head for the capital, and that means it's time to take on the Gatekeeper. He's not hard. That's it, that's my entire commentary for that fight. Running past the Trumpet Boys and up the tree, it's time to see if my OSHA violation of a weapon can hit ghosts. Spoiler alert, yes it can. You'd think for this being my favorite fight in the whole game, I would be able to execute it perfectly, but honestly, I just kind of throw myself at Godfrey not caring what happens. And then when that's done, we start fighting. Eventually, he goes down. And then we start fighting. I'm gonna be cool and avoid this arrow at the last second. Nailed it. Normally I would take on Morgott next, but I'm going to head into the sewers to take on Mog. What? No, I'm definitely not coming down here to get some sort of revenge for the pain he caused me in the Frenzied Flame Incantations only run. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, honestly, the damage feels about the same, but not having to worry about mana and actually being able to attack during his windows makes this fight much more enjoyable. You know, something about having him backhanding me out of the air just seems fitting. I didn't even learn my lesson from the last time. I'm literally just jumping into his attacks. Eventually, we put the Omen to rest, and I can't wait to see him again. No, actually, though, I'm excited to beat his ass again. After Mog, we have to descend the... Oh, I actually forgot about this. I need to fight Morgott to open this path up. Well, alright. He's also not hard. So you'd think since it's now open, I'd go back down there, right? Haha, wrong. Gotta keep you on your toes. And also, I totally didn't just go get the next Smithing Stone Bell bearing to make the coming fights easier. Haha. So anyway, Shaded Castle. Come here, you rip-off Darth Vader. I'm gonna beat the midichlorian out of you. You can kinda tell I hardly ever fight Elmer. How, you ask? Well, I'd say it's pretty obvious. Also, I literally only came here to fight him to make the Star Wars references, so now that he's down, the galaxy is at peace. I take the Valkyrie's prosthesis back to Millicent and head off to Windmill Village, where I fight Long, White, and Ugly. He isn't really that big of a deal because, you know, he's by himself. And after he goes down, Millicent shows up, but something's wrong. I feel darkness enveloping my mind. I don't know, but these dark thoughts are taking over. I'm sorry, Millicent. Well, she ain't getting any deader. Millicent's prosthesis grants a +5 to dexterity, but also increases damage with subsequent hits. It's essentially a direct upgrade to the Prosthesis Wearer's Heirloom, and it stacks with the Winged Sword insignia. It was probably obvious long before now, but the goal of this build is hit many time and hit really strong like Helicopter Blade. At this point, I decided to descend into Nokron because honestly, it's just out of the way no matter when I do it, so... Oh look, the Regal Ancestor Spirit. I really want to do a run where this fight ends up being challenging, but aside from playing this game with both hands tied behind my back, I don't really know how to do that. Which sucks because honestly it's a really cool boss fight. With the whole special attacks from the dead animals thing, it could have been really difficult. Well, I guess he passes the vigor check at least. Giving the Fingerslayer blade to Ronnie, I descend deep into the earth until I find the Space Scorpion of my dreams. Estelle here shouldn't be a problem, he doesn't have too much health. Wow, that grab hitbox is fucked. I literally died from full health. Whatever, I can spin to win, and only 3 attempts later, he goes down. I put my stupid statue on this pedestal, take the world's longest elevator up, see that the Salem Witch Trials made it all the way to the lands between, grab the Curse Mark of Death, and then go step on Bach because it's time for fashion. Okay, I didn't actually need Bach, but I felt bad for the little guy. Which is more than I can say for Patches, but I need him alive, unfortunately. Speaking of fashion, I think it's finally time to wear something a little more fitting. To be honest, my first idea was to wear Fia's robes, which is kind of why I tried to get into Deep Root Depths so early, but a friend of mine suggested instead the Preceptor set. Looking at this one reference image I googled, yeah, looks pretty good. For those of you who disagree and think there's something better, feel free to yell at me in the comments. Anyway, it's back to the sewers to play Platform Simulator 2022, then I don't know, Temple Run Simulator 2022? Fia's champions are, actually a little bit difficult this time around. See, I've never been good at fighting humanoid enemies. I just can't. I don't know why, but any invasion, and especially any hunter fight in Bloodborne, I just suck at. It doesn't help that the Twin Blade doesn't seem to have much poise damage, and that man over there be really thick. Oh god, please no, 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 please no. Dang it. Whatever, eventually the champions go down and I get to be held by Fia. Every gamer's dream. My first attempt at Fortisax doesn't go so hot. Shocking, I know. Second attempt goes much better with me being the worst nail technician and accidentally killing my client. After all this, it's finally time to get back on track, up through the mountaintops and towards the fire giant. So I haven't mentioned it yet, but the charged attack while riding Torrent is like a super multi-hit attack, and as you can imagine, it's pretty good in this fight. Going into phase 2, I was slightly out of position to give big damage. I know, I'm bad, but there really isn't much else to say about this fight. I have a nice little loop of how I like to fight him. I just run at him to bait the arm smash, get a couple hits in, circle back with another couple hits, then depending on what he does, just react accordingly. I know it isn't the most efficient way to fight him, but honestly, probably one of the safest ways, and after a few minutes, he goes down. Alright, here we are in fabulous Farum Azula, where in most runs, including this one, there is nothing for me to do, so on to the worst boss in the whole game, Godskin Duo. Or to be honest, Godskin Apostle and Company, because 9 times out of 10, I prefer the skinny one. This is why you level Vigor, kids. Luckily for me, the Twin Blade's attacks are fast enough to weave in and out of the Apostle's range. The downside to only fighting him is the way this boss's health is balanced. See, they share a health pool, but they also have individual health bars, with the Nobles being slightly higher. Meaning, to only fight the Apostle, he has to be down 3 times and then some. What I'm trying to say is, this fight sucks. I've gotten more used to it, but I never look forward to it. Anyway, with my skills and a little bit of luck, the duo fall first try. Now it's time for a much more fun boss. Dragon Lord Placidusax. Didn't see that one coming, did ya? I decided to do old Placidusax here because, well, runes, but also I wanted to test what this weapon was like on a big, slow target. It's not bad, even though he's got decent slash resistance, we still do some good damage. What? What do you mean the spinning slash twin blade is standard and pierce damage? Whatever, damage is damage. Note to self, that hitbox is big and comes out fast. Second note to self, make sure to read notes to self. Second try we're doing much better. What I really wanted to see was just how much damage I could do during his big laser attack. But I accidentally staggered him, causing it to end early. A stagger sounds like a good thing because of a critical, but I'm pretty sure I could have finished him had it not have happened. Doesn't really matter, he had very little health and a couple more R1s did him in. Now it's time for Maliketh. Once again, the speed of the Twin Blade is really nice, letting me strike between his various beast incantations. Phase 2 gets a free fully charged heavy with proper positioning. Other than that, the fight goes normal. Eventually, he goes down and we wake up in Geonosis. Hey Gideon, hold still. My first plan for Gideon was to just backstab him, which worked great, until it didn't. I ended up making the classic roll away from the enemy mistake and he got me. That's fine, because round 2 I was ready for revenge. I was honestly still going for backstabs, specifically when he casts Law of Causality because he doesn't turn to face me while doing it, but that was proving to be harder than I thought, so I just resorted to the much easier strategy of hit him until he falls down. Godfrey the First Elden Lord. He's definitely a boss. Not a single comment out of any of you. Aside from that little misstep, this fight is uneventful. A few slashes here, a couple of twirls there, a kick to the chin, you know, normal stuff. Oh, this is my chance to get a cool in the face of death moment. I might have misspaced that. Radagon and Victory are just a stone's throw away, but I got some loose ends to tie up. First in Liurnia, I grab half the medallion. Sorry, Albus, bad guy's got a bad guy. Well, that was unexpected. I wonder if I could skip half of Castle Sol by landing on it from above. That looks longer than 20 meters. But that might not be. Well, at least I tried. Niall's henchmen aren't so bad. A backstab here, a spin there, a jumping attack. Oh, that's right. Jumping attacks don't stagger. Second attempt goes much better. I especially love the part where he sat still and let me rip him to shreds, which every boss would do that. Normally I would head straight to Malenia at this point, but I'm feeling Mog first this time, so I totally didn't die to the Sanguine Noble, use a teleporter, then end up in Nebraska. Get it? Because it's farmland? Yeah, I'll see myself out. Before taking him on, I need to make a quick stop to get the Purifying Crystal Tear. Well, hello, fellow Twin Blade user! Oh, that is most definitely not a Twin Blade. Back to the boss at hand. Mog is easy. Sure, the Twin Blade isn't the most effective weapon at taking him out, but it sure beats anything fire-related, I tell you what. I wasn't able to get an early kill on him during his phase transition. I mean, I didn't expect I would be able to, but it would have been cool. Either way, he goes down first try. Now it's time to head to Malenia, but first, a quick stop for some revenge. Yeah, how do you like it? How does it feel, huh? With that out of the way, it's time to fight the Lands Between's least threatening equestrian, Loretta. She's not hard. I mean, if you honestly expected me to say something else, I don't know what to tell you. Now, the Goddess of Rot over here is another story. That ends exactly the same way. To her credit, I did slip up and have one oh shit moment, but again, that very level though. Okay, you know, I'm not gonna say Malenia is easy because she's not. She literally cheats by breaking the game's established rules, but god is it satisfying to watch her go down. With her out of the way, there's only one boss left, and it's definitely the one I was the most worried about. Rykard. Alright, you big ugly legless lizard, let's get this over with. Attempt number 1 goes, well, honestly, halfway decent. By the end of his first health bar, I'd only used 4 Estus. He has more health in phase 2, but I bet it's doable, and it was going pretty good. Right up until he sat on me and then I panic rolled into his sword. So what you're probably expecting now is a death montage of me throwing myself at him over and over, and as much fun as that would be, I have a better idea. I'm sure some of you noticed that my stamina bar has been growing throughout this run. That isn't just so I can swing my sword more. No, I was planning from the very beginning to become thick AF. So I ruthlessly ended Tragoth and steal his clothes, then I grabbed the Bulgo Talisman. This will greatly increase my poise overall, meaning I won't get staggered by the lava as often. Next, believe it or not, there is another way to make this build a little stronger, and that is by downing this putrid avatar in the consecrated snowfield, which awards us the Thorny Crack tier. When mixed into the physic, this also increases subsequent damage, but by a lot. Like, the max level is 20%, and it stacks with our other talismans. I could have gotten this earlier, but honestly, I thought it would be overkill. Lastly, I grabbed the Axe Talisman from the Mistwood Runes, and with that, I'm ready to take on Rykard again. So the first strategy I had was to just do fully charged heavy attacks over and over. My thought process was the more often I can poise break him, the less often he can hit me with anything. And this worked for a while. If all 4 hits of the charge attack landed, it would do roughly 2500 damage, which is pretty stout for what is ultimately one button press. The problem is, more often than not every hit would land, and the final hit is the one that does the big boy damage. If that missed, it meant we just kind of stood there for no reason doing very little damage, and more importantly, very little poise damage. It didn't help that even with all my endurance, I'm still fat rolling, and I kind of accidentally rolled into his sword. Again. Anyway, for attempt number 3, I decided I would use more light attacks because those actually combo into each other, which definitely helps our various buffs. And as the saying goes, third time's a charm and Rykard goes down. Back to light roll, and it's time to finish the fight. Radagon of the Golden Order. What a fantastic final boss. If I could just do an all Radagon run, I would be so happy. I mean, it would be boring to watch, but that's how much fun this fight is. This is also where I noticed the Twin Blade is kind of busted, honestly. I mean, I haven't noticed before, but this thing hits like a truck. The whole fight only took about 1 minute and 40 seconds. Hell, I almost no-hit him except for the fact I got a little greedy during his Elden Shattering attacks, causing my hurtbox to shift slightly into his hitbox. The crazy part? I didn't even drink the Physic yet, I was saving it for Elden Beast. Speaking of, he is also just as easy. I mean, look at this! I did around 75% of his health in about 40 seconds! That is absurd! I know I had favorable RNG with him doing a melee swing instead of swimming away, but still! Then he flies into the air to do the ring attack, and honestly, if I had positioned myself just a little bit better to get the charged heavy off, I would have been able to finish this fight before he even cast Elden Stars, which is the only attack that hit me, meaning for both fights, I missed the no-hit by a single tick of damage. I'm not even using any external buffs like Golden Vow or Flame Grant Me Strength. Mixing those in would be hitting Soldier of Godric levels of overpowered. Combined, both bosses took less than 5 minutes. For someone that regularly does challenges where bosses can take upwards of 10 or 15 minutes, this felt like light speed. No. It felt like ludicrous speed. Once the dust had cleared, we take our seat on the throne, having beaten Elden Ring with an ordinary Twin Blade. Big thanks to my wonderful patrons. Stay beautiful, y'all, and until next time, my friends, don't you dare go hollow.